One of the most important parts of making cosplay is deciding what fabric to use. But if you're new to sewing, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the possible choices. So today, let's talk fabric basics. First and foremost, you should know the terms fiber and weave. No, not that kind of weave. Fiber means the kind of material the fabric actually consists of, while weave refers to how the fibers are put together to form the fabric. Both of these terms are used when naming fabric. For example, silk chiffon tells you that the fiber is silk and the weave is chiffon. Cotton sateen tells you that the fiber is cotton and the weave is sateen. In general, there are two categories of fibers, natural fibers and synthetic fibers. That should be pretty self-explanatory. Natural fibers come from plants and animals. Both of these natural fibers are typically easy to dye, they're absorbent and breathable. However, plant fibers wrinkle more than animal fibers, and animal fibers are usually more expensive too. Synthetic fibers, on the other hand, are fibers created in a lab. They're very strong, wrinkle-resistant, and versatile. But take note, they're not very breathable and they're also difficult to dye. Let's move on to different types of weaves. Again, you have two main categories, wovens and knits. Woven fabrics are made of yarns that crisscross, therefore they don't stretch unless it contains something like spandex. They're used mostly for structured garments like shirts, blazers, coats, and so on. If you're a beginner, woven fabrics will be easier to sew. Meanwhile, knits are made of a single continuously looping yarn. They come in two-way or four-way stretch, and they're used for non-structured garments. Knits can be tricky to sew when you're just starting out. Alright, let's run through some basic fabrics that are commonly used in cosplay. Fabrics that you definitely want to avoid: costume fabrics because they look very cheap, crushed velvet because, again, it looks cheap, and lining fabric. It should only be used for lining. Okay, so you have the knowledge, but how do you choose what fabric to use when making a costume? Step number 1, figure out the purpose of the garment. Is it a uniform jacket, a school skirt, a superhero's outfit, an 18th century ball gown? The uniform jacket would likely need a durable woven material, whereas the superhero will typically be in form-fitting spandex. Number 2, who's wearing this clothing? An empress wouldn't be dressed in cheap cotton broadcloth, and an adventurer wouldn't be wearing expensive brocade. Number 3, avoid shiny fabrics if you're going to be taking pictures of your costume, which I assume most of you will be. Shiny fabrics can look cheap when photographed, especially if it's a hallway photo and the camera flash goes off. No one ever looks good in camera flash. Lean towards fabrics that have more of a matte finish. Number 4, look at pattern packages for recommendations. Even if you're going to be drafting your own pattern, find a pattern similar to what you'll be making to see what types of fabrics they suggest for that kind of garment. You don't have to use what they're recommending, but it's a great place to start. Number 5, check the opacity of the fabric. Even if it looks solid on the bolt, hold it up to the light and take a test photo to see if it'll be see-through. And number 6, when ordering fabric online, always order a swatch first. colors may appear differently on your computer screen, so get a swatch to see what the color looks like in real life, as well as to test the stretch and the feel of the fabric before dropping a bunch of money on multiple yards. Final tip, if your budget allows you to, always buy a little more fabric than you think you need. That way, if you mess up, you have enough to fix your project without having to worry about the store selling out of the fabric you're using, especially if you're using a seasonal fabric or print. And that is it for this basic introduction to fabrics. If you enjoyed this video and the Cosplay 101 series, please consider visiting me on Patreon. Your support allows me to create more of these helpful tutorials for other cosplayers. Thanks so much for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe for more cosplay videos, and as always, happy cosplay!